Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Kershwan, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we talk about Chaos, specifically why it's better to worship Chaos than to be part of the Imperial Cult. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe because we post Warhammer 40K content just like this every single day. And if you have any requests for topic ideas, please comment down below. Now, when it comes to worshipping chaos, it always seems as if it's a negative, but in reality, based on the average Imperial citizen's life, it's actually a lot better to be a chaos worshipper than it is to be a regular Imperial citizen following the Imperial Creed. We're going to talk about that today, so let's get into 40 facts about why it's better to worship chaos than to be part of the Imperial Cult. To worship chaos is to betray the God Emperor and to follow a path down eternal damnation. A path filled with pain, suffering, and anguish like no man can ever dream of, or so the Imperial Cult wants you to believe. In the Imperial Cult, you are taught that as long as you deny the lure of chaos, you will be protected both in life and death by the God Emperor. Clearly this isn't true, because there have been trillions of people whose devotion to the God Emperor has not protected them from Dark Eldar raiding parties, or saved them from the savagery of an orc wall. But there has been many stories of individuals saved not by the grace of the God Emperor, but rather by something much stronger, the gifts of chaos. Imagine that you are a hard-working Imperial citizen, slaving away in a manufactorum. A manufactorum, just like all the others, that works their people to exhaustion. This disregard for your well-being leads to an infectious disease spreading through the manufactorum. You become sick, so sick that you are bedridden, and to top it all off, your job at the manufactorum is given to someone else, because as they tell you, the God Emperor's fight must always continue. You attempt to get medical help, but you quickly realize that your chances of getting better would have been greater without the help of these Imperial surgeons. You are stuck in a crowded room with 100 other sick and dying citizens. You are lucky if you see a nurse once a day, let alone a doctor. The administrative failures of the Imperium have damned you to lay in your cramped bed and wait for the day you die. Like any man, fear of your own demise sets in. You pray to the God Emperor to save you from this hell, but his very own doctors tell you there is no helping you at this point. If you would have been attended to earlier on, you would have a chance, but now it's over. The system that was supposed to protect you is now your damnation. You desperately cling on to life as you enter in and out of consciousness to the point where you can't even recognize if you are still alive. Your half-conscious dreams reveal the terror that you will die. You pray for one more day of life, just one. The prayer is answered. You open your eyes and you see the world still exists. Your fever is not gone, your body still aches, but you are not dead. This happens night after night. While the bodies of the people around you get carried away, you still remain. The pain of your body, waking you up every morning, but it is a welcome pain, for it means you are still alive. The doctors and nurses are astounded that you have held out for so long. Imperial surgeons come from all across the planet. Priests are sent by the ecclesiarchy to witness this miracle of the sick man who will not die. They claim it's a gift from the Emperor, but it is not the Emperor who answered your prayer. You've seen the true savior of humanity. He gave you power to defy the doom of mortal corruption, and instead used it as a source of strength and inspiration for you. He is Nerville, the Shepherd of Hope. It is Nerville who allows Imperial Guardsmen to live even if they have suffered mortal wounds. It is Nerville who keeps hope alive in the hearts of the terminally ill. To be a true worshipper of Nerville is to have the will to live, to be willing to do whatever it takes to cling on to life, and to make the most of that life. In the drone-filled cathedrals of the chapter of the Adeptus Ministorum, preachers spew their lies upon the unsuspecting and dim-witted flock. They warn against corruption of the soul and filth of the spirit. They tell their listeners that to turn from the faith is to join the ranks of the lost and the damned. but they are wrong. It is no surprise that the Imperium of Man is a technologically backward society. If you were born with a natural affinity towards the mechanical, you would find haven within the ranks of the Adeptus Mechanicum. Of course, that would only remain so long as you follow the rules of the Tech Priests and the Cult Mechanicus. Any innovation, any inspirational nuance that comes to you while working would be suppressed until inspected by another member of the AdMech. Even if your new design or discovery brought great benefit to mankind, it would be decades before the Imperium could fully adopt or utilize your creation. You would be raised on the idea that knowledge is the supreme manifestation of divinity, and that all creatures and artifacts that embody knowledge are sacred, but the Imperium would attack you for seeking that knowledge. To further your learning and to advance your quest for knowledge, you would be forced to turn to other fountains of knowledge, all which can be found through the worship of Tzeentch. Tzeentch is not selfish with what he knows. He guides tech priests to further their technological discoveries. He illuminates the true source of knowledge that is so sought after by the Cult Mechanicus. While the Cult Mechanicus teaches you how to worship the Omnissiah, Tzeentch teaches you how to commune with the Omnissiah. To worship Tzeentch is to be given a fresh new pair of eyes that can see the truth of the world. Machines and their parts will be understood by Tzeentch worshippers simply by looking at them. Tzeentch worshippers will be able to commune with the machine spirits, and the machine spirits will bend to their will. Most enticing to all the tech priest or tech magi is that through the worship of Tzeentch, one can uncover the secrets of the greatest forge in existence, the Forge of Souls. The Forge of Souls is a dark forge of the ruinous powers, utilized to create maleficent demon engines, as well as potent armaments and talismans to be used by the demons in their eternal warfare. An unfathomable amount of knowledge is hidden in this place, knowledge that can be bestowed upon any man that worships Tzeentch. To worship chaos is to allow yourself to accept the incomprehensible power of the galaxy. While most Imperial citizens will live their lives underneath the foot of the ecclesiarchy, those that turn to the ruinous power will have powers beyond measure. Imagine yourself as an Imperial commander. You have led your men into battle against the toughest odds, and you have always come out on top. All of this is thanks to your devotion to the God Emperor, or so you believe. That is until you are tasked to pacify a small revolt that quickly becomes a full-scale revolution. Your mind fills with rage as you coordinate counterattack after counterattack against this alien threat. They are foreigners, brought to your planet as refugees from the edge of your system. With them, they brought the seed of corruption, and you will do anything in your power to eradicate them all. You continue to fight, but it does nothing. You finally realize you are in a war of attrition, a style of war sadly too common in the Imperium of Man. You see your men get slaughtered by the enemy every single day. The comrades you came into the war with are gone, and you are left alone with a whole new batch of fresh-faced recruits. You know their days are numbered. The enemy pushes forward, and the front line begins to buckle. You ask for reinforcement from the high command, but the administratum and the ecclesiarchy sees no benefit in continuing this war. Your fate has been sealed by the Emperor's bureaucracy. The same men who brought the traitors in are leaving you hung out to dry. You hear through the Vox transmissions that the enemy has cemented its base on the very same land your men died to attain. It will remain theirs. You've lost. A burning rage fills your stomach as you think about your home being overrun by traitors, not just the men shooting at you, but also the men pulling your strings. You vow revenge on all those that betrayed you. Luckily, that call is heard by the only being capable of giving you what you ask, the Lord of Skulls. You are promised your vendetta for the price of your enemy's skulls. No man would deny this gift, and no man ever does, because to worship Khorne is to worship power. Any man who seeks martial pride or craves accomplishment is a worshipper of Khorne. Imperial guardsmen who wake up every morning to better their art of war is a worshipper of Khorne. To worship Khorne is to worship honor, to worship victory. And finally, to all those still claiming that the Imperial Cult and the false Emperor is the only true path to salvation, what is there to be saved from if life itself is hell? Imperial citizens are depraved from almost all freedoms. They see the restraints and denial of the most basic feats of enjoyment as a necessity, knowing that the easiest path to corruption for most Imperial citizens is freedom. They impose harsh rules and ultimately a harsher existence on their people within the Imperium. The Imperial Cult prevents citizens from partaking in the most basic actions for fear of corruption. This malignant ideology, known as the Imperial Cult, has gone so far in certain places that they forbid the consumption of alcohol, drugs, music, and even dancing. In a world where war is a constant and freedom is oppressed, the Imperial citizen has no choice but to look for those small escapes from reality, where they can feel a tiny bit of pleasure or joy. It is here that they find true salvation from the misery. It is the Prince of Pleasure that guides the Imperial citizens away from misery and into a new light of happiness. To worship Slaanesh is to worship happiness, joy, and laughter. A musician calming down a crowd with his song, a comedian telling his jokes to fill a room with laughter. These are worshippers of Slaanesh, the men and women who try to make the world a less miserable place. Those are the worshippers of Slaanesh. To worship the dark gods is not to hate humanity, like the Imperial Cult wants you to believe. To worship the Chaos gods is to love life and attempt to enjoy every bit of it as much as possible. And those were 40 facts as to why worshipping chaos is better for the Imperial Guard citizen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to share it with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. If you have an Imperial Guard fanboy within your playgroup, share this video with them. Hopefully they can see the error of their ways and they can sell you their army for cheap, and then they can get a proper army, like a Plague Marine army or a Orc army. Go into the Xenos. But again, guys, this was a lot of fun to make. If you guys have any other suggestions for other topics of Warhammer 40K, please comment down below. And if you guys want to learn more about the different Gifts of Chaos, check out our 40 Facts video on the Gifts of Chaos. Also on the channel, if you go underneath the playlist tab, we have playlists for each individual Chaos God, and within those playlists, you will find 40 facts on their individual cultists. So you get to learn about the cultists of Khorne, of Nerville, of Tzeentch, and what their gifts are. So that goes more in depth for each individual Chaos God. So don't forget to check that out. And if you guys like our videos and you want to support us a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos. If you can't, we completely understand. Just by simply liking, commenting, and sharing these videos, it really helps us out. But with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.